Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Mr. JP, the game is Out of Ore, and joining me about 10 minutes into a gaming session, so this might be a short video and I might end up having to go at video editing and cutting it together. Thanks to all my viewers and subscribers and for all the people commenting, giving me advice and encouragement. It's a beautiful thing. Big shout out to Mr. WT. He does videos of Out of Ore as well, and has been advising me and giving me encouragement. Thank you for all his kind help. And everyone, if you see a video by Mr. WT on Out of Ore, give it a watch. Give it a watch, because I think in encouraging me, he decided to go back to it. So big spot of encouragement there for you, man. Keep it up. Your last video is good, and if you like a more advanced base and how to use the construction tools, give his video a watch, because he's much better on the decorative side than me. And I think with the YouTube creators, it's always about watching the type of video and content that applies to you and how you game. So it's different strokes for different people. Feel free to like and dislike as you do. Another big shout out to Split in Two Gaming. Likewise, some of his content's been useful to me, some of it hasn't, but you're free to like, dislike and subscribe as you choose. It's all free, doesn't cost you anything. And but the one thing is, if you do a dislike, leave a comment about why, so that we can improve the content for you. If you just dislike a video and walk away, it's like, well, that wasn't helpful. So I'm all about self-improvement. I can't self-improve without feedback, so it's really important. And Split in Two Gaming's been giving me some advice about stuff, commenting on my videos, which means he's been watching my videos, and he's got like 30,000 subscribers. I'm kind of scared. It's like, yeah, big fish and little fish. So yeah, big thank you to the developer of the game, Christian. I will get round to watching the devlog. I'll get round to watching Split in Two's Roller Focus as well. But I'm too busy playing the game. So, and since I'm gaming and analysis, that's what I do. So I've been experimenting and doing tests and running the FPS issue. Using a smaller loader doesn't change the fact that you will run into that FPS wall eventually. Hoping the next update's going to fix it. Dev said he's on it, and I've got every confidence in Christian to fix these things. Bergsbrook, the older version of this, ran nicely. It just didn't develop and do what it said on the tin. And a lot of people are saying, oh, the graphics aren't as good, but I'm going to be honest, I don't mind. I get what the aim is with this game. I think it's going to go great places. And someone's already mentioned on the Discord, like, is it going to go to console? Well, the fact of the matter is, it needs a load of optimization. If they can fix this FPS crash, you pretty much got a nice game. I'll be able to play it for ages and really enjoy myself. If you can get it optimized so it doesn't use 90%. It turns out I've got a 1070 card, by the way. I was lying. I checked it. It's a 1070 card on a 9th gen i7 core. If you can get this game to run smoothly and reliably on my machine, then you've got a lot of gamers out there that haven't been able to afford to stay with the current technology because of COVID and everything. But they will want to buy your game. If you can get it running smoothly on lower grade machines, you've just expanded the market, and you'll get another wave of sales, which is what developers always need to develop better games. It's the way the wheel works. You need money to make money. So yeah, a lot of people have been saying with the roller art damages the edges and stuff, and you are right. It is a bit annoying along the edges of these tiles, so I've decided to lose them. And what I'm doing is just leaving a couple in every so often as levelling markers to that wall, kind of thing. And then I'm going to come in with a dozer and level it all off. But I've decided on a new design for my roads because of it. I was going to have like a pedestrian pavement along the edge of them, but I'm not going to now. I'm just going to have a wall edge. So I'm going to scrape it down and install that later. Just so you know about the demo active thing, it is useful, I'll give you that. But yeah, for those situations where you've done a load of work, finished up, and then go to drive a vehicle like I just did. So it is handy. I understand why it's there. I just want to see the game running reliably and stuff first before we start messing around with the peripherals. That's what I want to see. I want to see a nice reliable piece of software. And so does the developer. I think this is a work of love. It's a work of love. And it's lovely, by the way. Like I think I'm probably like 300, 400 hours in now. I should really check the Steam thing. I'm too busy reading up on stuff and learning to use YouTube's conversation chat type thing. It's got different filters and files, so if I don't get back to you straight away, it might be because I haven't checked the right thing. I'm learning, I'm getting better at it. Also getting better at, like, I'm going to be honest, I'm the kind of person who checked their emails like once a month before COVID. So I'm a bit new to all that. We'll get round to it, it'll all be good. But yeah, so bear with me if I haven't got back to you on the comments, I do really appreciate them. So yeah, I'm just going along this road, putting in some material, getting it up to the level of that wall. So never be afraid to build something in to level up to and then delete it afterwards if you don't want it there. This game is about rebuild and rebuild and rebuild in some ways. You'll see what I mean by the way I'm running my processing in a minute. Some people will scream, oh, you're double shifting, you're being inefficient. But because of the FPS lag and the sudden crashes, it is more efficient to have all the rich stuff after a big dig run in a pile, and then save, quit, reload, and then put it into that conveyor so it doesn't crash on you halfway through and you lose all the material in the conveyors and the processors that you've loaded into the hoppers. So I found I'm actually making more profit using this method for the amount of work that I'm doing. And it looks kind of cool, and I might be able to bulldoze load the hoppers in future, so I'm going to buy the small bulldozer and do some experiments with that. For the moment, I'm just going to take another scrape. I do like this bulking and being able to just scrape a level out now. It's beautiful. It is really beautiful. The other thing about building a temporary floor is it gives you a level surface to park the vehicle on and set the GPS. This is important if you're trying to build a level plateau. Something to be remembered, the 302's GPS used to be locked to the chassis. I don't know if it's improved now. I'll be doing a test with the 302. Those smaller machines are handy in what I'm doing at the moment until I expand it a bit down there. So yeah, so I've built that waste out there, which I got a little frustrated earlier. I lost a load of gaming due to a game crash. Then I lost half an hour's recording because my microphone was muted. Yeah, we've all done it. Check your settings, people, check your settings. A bit like Kerbal Space Program, check your staging. Yeah, so yeah, I got a little bit angry and got the Dreamite out and I blew a hole in the hill to put my waste material in. Because I don't need it for dumping on my road builds anymore. So I figured I may as well build a waste hole in a piece of ground that I wasn't that impressed with. Turns out I think I might have been blowing into some kind of pay dirt, but never mind. There's plenty of pay dirt out there. This map's huge, and by huge, when people are saying, oh, they want certain things to do with the map, the developers sniggered and said explore, the map's huge. I think it's 400 kilometers by 400 kilometers a side or something. It's giant. I got that figure by square rooting a surface area that was given as a figure for the map, so that may be incorrect. I am just theorising. It's huge. This game's massive. The potential for it's massive. We just need it running stable and beautiful on lower end machines and we'll be there, in my opinion. My opinion's probably flawed, but it's my Discord's called Mr. JP Gaming and Analysis. So analysis is sort of about testing, playing and opinion. That's what we do. That's what we say on the tin. So yeah, everyone's entitled to an opinion. That's what the like, dislike and comments are about. It gives you a chance to air your opinion. Because I do know one thing, being muzzled and not having a voice is a quick way to lose your public. Another development game that I've talked about involving railways. Yeah, they deleted their Discord of all the things to do. They didn't even lock it down so you couldn't comment and leave it there as a reference file for people to play the game. They've just deleted it, which was insane. It's like the biggest piece of media suicide I think I've seen in a long time, and it caused a backlash on the Steam reviews that you've never seen. And then after all that, they asked for people to vote for them in the Steam Game of the Year awards. No, but I'll tell you this: when the Steam Game of the Year awards come around, I'm going to be rooting for Out of All. That's for sure. It's the best development game I've been playing. Everything else will not be qualifying for that because it's for games at their first year. And I reckon the speed of development of Out of Ore means that in that first year it's going to be unrecognisable. We're getting an update every week. It's beautiful. People are moaning about the update every week because they're just not getting any work done. You know, their wives are complaining. I think it's even Splitting 2 Gaming's got in trouble on that one. I'm lucky I don't have a wife, but I do have a family, and well, yeah, don't think that they're probably that impressed. But at the same time, I'm doing something for the first time in a year in a situation that is utterly horrible. So we'll just run with it, hey. It's fine. I've got a car I can sell to fund anything I want to do. Like I was thinking about a 7 days to die server, some computer upgrades, and I've got assets that I can sell to do that, since I've been disabled by the NHS, but my government doesn't think I qualify for any benefit without looking for a job, which I can't do without risking rupturing an artery and dying there and then, before an ambulance can get to me, or anyone can get through to 999, which is the British equivalent of 911 for my American viewers. I don't know what the waiting time's like on 911, but over here you can be on hold for 15 to 20 minutes, so if you're suffering from an internal bleed that kills you in a couple of minutes, as we saw from that poor presenter in Qatar on the soccer who died of exactly the problem I have, yeah, he hit the deck and before all the paramedics at the soccer could get to him, he was dead. So I don't think I'm going to be on hold for 15 minutes to 999. So yeah, kind of a thing to live under, but at the same time, what's the big deal? I've been living unknowing for, well, I knew for the first 6 months they'd said it was gone, so I didn't worry about it, and then it turns out it's not gone. So yeah, yeah, I'm not impressed with the NHS. Sorry to anyone out there. It's not the workers, but the actual system. It all needs a little bit of polish, a bit like the British railway system. There's a few things in the UK that need repairing. It's not a perfect country. I don't get why everyone wants to come here at the moment. The place is a wreck. It's all worn out. It needs refurbishment and servicing. If you know how to do that, feel free to come here, because it would appear that everyone who's got those jobs currently, the ones at the bottom are being handicapped by the system, the one at the top appear to be milking it, and it appears to be that way a long way through. It's crazy. Absolutely bonkers. What a way to run a railroad. So yeah, on the subject of railroads and what I'm running, that's the Grizzly input there, which goes down to a pair of hoppers there, and then the machines pile out into that pile there, and so I can load material at the top until the FPS rate hits, fire up the machines separately so that they're not taking FPS that I could use for digging, and then letting it run whilst I make a cup of coffee, maybe edit videos or upload this video. Don't know whether I'm going to join this to a two-parter or just run it as a single. Going to play with video editing. My friend Oswin that I mentioned earlier, we've been sat in the shed and we've been talking. Everybody knows sheds are like the inventing ground of the human, well, at least in the UK, sheds are the inventing ground of everything. Everything was invented in a shed. Or a dining table. Don't forget dining tables. They're really inventive places. And yeah, we're chatting away about stuff, so we've had some crazy ideas, but yeah, there's going to be some fun in hand. But he's encouraging me to, as I say, get into video editing and learn how to do that. I think it's partially to improve my channel. The other half is probably that he wants me to edit his videos. I'm going to be honest. But if I get good at it and I can get quick at it, then if it doesn't take away from too much gaming time, if I do it when I'm knackered at night or something, I'll figure it out. I've never really done media. I have a fully engineering and manufacturing and tradesman background, so very practical person, not so good at paperwork. I think it's about to all catch up with me. We'll see how that goes. That's the life stuff that I've been involved with in the last day or two, which, apology to any of my viewers. I said I'll meet you for chat in the Discord and I was going to be on and streaming. I'm sorry, it all went horribly wrong and my life got in the way. I didn't even get the chance to get a message out about it. It all just landed yesterday, so that's why I didn't get any content out, so I'm sorry for that. At the same time, I probably needed a screen break One of the reasons I don't think we'll be seeing Oswin in any multiplayer games on this channel, or with much content at the moment, is he's got addicted to a game called Arma 3. And he pulled an 18-hour stint. I saw it on Discord and thought, that's going to hurt, you're going to regret that. I saw him the next day, yesterday, and he was just like, I've seen people in that state before, but it normally involves a 3-day festival, and it happened in 18 hours of gaming. So, like, people, you've got to take your breaks. You've got to take your breaks. I mean, I game for 48 hours at a time, but I tend, currently, because of the FPS drop in this game, I have to game around it. So what I do is I do this digging for a bit, and then let the machines run and go away from the game. So I'm not even looking at the screen, I just let it run, come back and do a save, restart the game, I can dig on. Or I can load my profit into the machine and do it that way. Just depends how I want to be playing at the time, you see. This game is a very simple game at the moment. You know, it's got only 2 types of mission in it, and you just dig material, and there's 3 machine components essentially for crushing and processing, and 2 conveyor corners, conveyor straight, conveyor up, and small hopper. That's all there is to it. It's really simple. A few building components. Look what we can build already. It's all about what you do with your gaming, and yeah, that's as I say, I've been focusing on what my channel's about and what I'm even doing here in YouTube, and it's all about improving the games to me and getting better gamers, making better people, making a better person myself. And this is why I encourage people, if they dislike a video of mine, to comment and tell me why, because I need the feedback. You can't take out your soul and look at it and decide you don't like that bit and change it if no one's pointed it out, because if you just take out your soul and look at it without people's reflections on it, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a hollow act. You need to know what people think of you to make changes that are valid and important. At the same time, you've got to know what information and advice not to take. I've been bad about that previously in my life, so because of those experiences, I can be a bit of a cynic. I've also been accused of being paranoid and a few things, but over time on those subjects that I've been accused of that, evidence has actually proved me right, so we won't go into that. But in the same way that people say, oh, a conspiracy couldn't happen, just remember, look at all the car companies and their emissions figures, and we'll leave it at that. Because the guys on the bottom definitely didn't know that was happening, and they never do. They never do. Funny old world, isn't it? Funny old world out there. It's a bit like my distrust of software. I'm very bad at using software, and in electronics college, software and I did not get on. I didn't enjoy the software side of things at all. I love using it. Like Out of Ore is great. Other construction games, as an example, Space Engineers is a good example. I've lost a lot of hours in that. I love building stuff with it. I've used it like that myself, running CNC machinery and that kind of thing. But for actually building software and programming and fault finding, I hate it. I can't stand it, I don't understand it, I can't touch it, I can't poke it. Give me an electronic circuit that I can put an oscilloscope into, or a voltmeter, something like that. Something where I can see electrons moving around, everything is fine. Like, even down to the microchips that this software is running on, I'm okay with. But when it comes to software, it's just like this strange world. It's a strange world. North and south have changed, there's now 8 different poles. It's all a bit weird. So yeah, electric motors, groups of poles, crazy stuff can be done. Yeah, I love all that. I love it. I'm not going to go off on one about electronics. I'll be here all day. I'm here to talk about Out of Ore, and I've separated my machines out to try and improve this FPS drop, and I have found I can dig for longer. Also, by using 2 hoppers, it sort of eats more of the particles per second, and that seems to help out. So another thing you can do, the feathering method I was using up on the roads by slowly letting it dribble out the bucket. If you do that into the hoppers, you will find that the FPS drop doesn't kick you as badly. So you've got less risk of a crash. As I say, recommend using the Steam overlay on this one. It might rob you of a few resources for gaming. At the same time, that FPS thing in the corner Well, once I start seeing it drop, I start doing a save so I don't lose, you know, the progress with my dig. So everything I've dug's still there, but everything in the machinery and hoppers, if we have a crash, will be gone when we load. So it's best to decide that everything I'm doing that going into the hoppers, I do not get attached to, because we could just lose it with a crash. But yeah, as I say, I'm going to either cut this video together or at the halfway point, or run it as a full one. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so I load these hoppers up and I set the machines to run, and I will just walk away from my computer whilst it does that. Come back, save, reload, and I can carry on digging. So I'll get some toast. I'm hungry. Yeah, JP needs a Snickers. So yeah, I'm a bit grumpy this morning. I'm trying to be happier. I'm trying to keep things positive. I am more positive in my life. Been in some dark places, but just remember that doesn't last. You will find something. Currently the thing I'm doing is YouTube, and I'm loving it. I'm loving the feeling of community that I'm getting back. Hoping to get better at managing it. We'd like to do a live stream in the Discord with some other people there. I did some testing of it, and it appears to work, but I need someone else there to show that they can see it. Just to make it real. I have this problem with the internet not being real. It's become a lot more real since people like Split in Two Gaming and Mr. WT have been messaging me and stuff. It built it home with the Crump guys. Like before this, I've never really used the net. Even during COVID, like other people were getting on video calls and stuff, doing like socializing and that kind of thing. I got a camera and started video calling 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's it. That's the total video call time of my life. So like, you know, in like a sci-fi thing where they take someone from the past and dump them in the future with no idea what they're doing, like that old movie with Stallone, Demolition Man. Yeah, I think that's right. I'm not a good movie buff. I get things mixed up. And he doesn't know how to use anything. I'm kind of like that with the net. I'm just like, oh yeah, let's poke this and see what happens. Oh god, what did I do? What did I do? I'm like that in life with technologies as well, but you know, lumps of metal, they don't do things quietly without you noticing, and all of a sudden it's all over Facebook or something, you know, because there's a link that you didn't know about, or your button you had to press. Like the Discord links, turns out they only run for 7 days, so I'm sorry about that. Some of the ones in my videos, when I remember, I am setting to permanent. It's one of the things I'm trying to get right. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. It's just a matter of me learning how to use everything. So yeah, it might look a bit ridiculous me taking what looks like the valueless top off of that material. With the drill it shows up as the word matte. But by doing that I make it easier for me to cut in lower down, stops it all getting mixed up, we get it out of the way, and it's all hunky-dory. I think I'm going to try and leave a bit of frontage just there with that tree just for a laugh, but yeah, I might need the room for running, to be fair. So we'll see how it goes, because I'm rebuilding this area. It might move around a little. I'm going to rebuild all of this machinery so it's centered off of the Grizzly, but it's currently working and it works quite well, and doing that is when I cut downwards into the mine, I think. So I'm going to be doing the rebuild when this pit gets deeper. It's going to get a bit longer as well. You can see there's a seam at the back there and a seam further up the hill. I want to dig my way into those, and now I've discovered the Dreamite thing. Yeah, I might use Dreamite method, or I might bulldoze stuff into this pit and dig it out and put it into the hoppers. Or I might use the fast hopper method I've been working on with the bulldozer. We'll see how that goes. Do some experiments. More experimenting. But yeah, I'm going to buy the small bulldozer for an experiment as well. I'm going to be running through the small loaders, testing them out again. Probably going to have another go with the grader because the thing fascinates me. And, oh yeah. Digging all of this out and stuff, and looking for the frame rate drop. We're going to go with the roller. Now, one thing I will say about the roller is it needs a fast gearbox where it doesn't roll anything, that it just drives around on. And then you put it into slow mode to roll, would be kind of cool. Because currently it's a bit like that friend that like doesn't get what everyone else at the table is on about and says something that's completely off the wall. So they come across as a little bit slow, but they're actually fine. And you love them. Well, yeah, that's what this thing's like. It's eating loads of my time. It's really slow to drive around on. But I do love it. I really do. Like, it's cute. I always loved a little roller at one of the heritage collections we were at because it was pretty cool. I thought it was great. So did a friend of mine. He actually did a load of work on it, got it going again, which is always fun. It's always nice to see an old piece of equipment when it gets fixed. But yeah, this thing's slower than anything, but I love it. You just drive along and clunk, 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 and you can see that edge falling away. Well, that's where I was going to build the tiles back over to hide that afterwards, you see. But it really does eat the edge. Ooh, and gets stuck. One thing you can do is what I'm trying to line up to do now, and that's run along the edge of the wall with it. There we go. Just get that back tyre onto the edge of that wall, run along, get a nice level, and then turn around at the other end. Don't go back over what you've just done, because I'll be sorting that out with a loader a bit later on. Because I found a way to cut nice flat walls, so and just go back again alongside it. You can start from the uphill side as well. That can help keep that edge. There's a few different ways of doing it, but yeah, I recommend buying the roller and having a play. It's cheaper than a fuel truck. It's great. Oh, brilliant. Best addition to the game ever. It was my first request for the game that I put into the NMC suggestions or whatever, so it's nice to see it in the game. It's nice to see a developer who's listening to the fans, getting the feedback, doing nice work. It's beautiful. As I may have mentioned in other videos, the guy who deleted the Discord, that's talk about community and publicity suicide. Oh my word, that's bad. It's like, well, accidents like 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl are the reason that the nuclear industry isn't very well trusted, and deleting your Discord is the equivalent of an accident on that level. You just did the David Han. You just turned your shed into a nuclear zone. Hilarious. Not that I can say anything. I probably talk about things that are really off the wall. I'm going to try and stop doing it now because I think I've got it out of my system, or at least I'm trying to think I've got it out of my system. For those who don't know, having some counselling for some traumatic stuff that happened to me in the emergency A&E department of an NHS hospital. Doctor was aiming for my lung and hit a bit of my heart, basically, and my life is fucked. But yeah, sorry about the language, but it's true. So's all my internals and stuff. Something that was meant to be a 3-month recovery and back to your normal life is now long-term consequences, and all she could do was boo her eyes out. So I wasn't very impressed. But yeah, all of the counselling and stuff, it's funny because it's affecting other things that have happened to me and bringing other stuff up, and it's kind of a bit weird. Turns out that people aren't meant to go through trauma levels like I have in my life. Never mind. This is the weird thing about it. I class these things as normal, and my counsellor's like, yeah, that's not normal, that's not normal, that's not normal. I'm like, really? 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 Okay. That's fine. You know, tell me something I don't know. He's probably going to come out and tell me that I've got counterphobia or something. I know that. I know a few things about myself that I've told doctors and they haven't listened, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm enjoying it. It's good to talk. It is good to talk. Really does help you out. But yeah, so the roller, yeah, you just go back and forth like this. There is a lot of dull time in this game. You probably see the way I'm rambling onto different subjects and stuff. It's because my mind is pretty idle, but it's very therapeutic. It's very therapeutic. I play other games to stimulate my mind. This is yeah, this is almost like meditation. It's great. Love it. So yeah, just gone around there rolling. Cleaned all that up, I think, because it was a bit of a mess. I'd had the conveyors along here in a line, and I deleted them as each pile got big, and yeah, messed around with the loader and all sorts. So that should be a bit of an improvement, bit of a smoother road. Gonna leave that hump there for a reason, because I am going to dump more material along here, but I'm going to use the dumper truck to do it, and I'm going to remove it from other places where I don't want material. So rather than dumping the waste from the mining, I'm just going to dump that into a big heap and essentially dig that out if I need material for the road. Otherwise it's just going to sit there and get bigger. I don't know what to do about waste pile heaps, because real mining has huge spoil heaps, really big spoil heaps, and they're everywhere. You may have seen news reports recently about dam accidents where tailings dams from mine processing have collapsed and killed a lot of people and that kind of thing. It happens. Yeah, mining waste is something that has to be considered during processing. There are ways around mining waste in this game that get rid of it on a permanent basis and just delete it. I'm not choosing that method. I'm going to pile it up and sculpt it with RDX and Dreamite, just for the laugh. I think that's what I'm going to do. So as you can see, there's a funny little bit of construction on that waste tower up there. Have I got machinery running already? Yeah, I have. Excellent. I didn't even remember turning them on. So yeah, that's running. Let's see what it's doing over here. Because I've got a corner on the end of that. And yeah, so it's tipping off and hitting and going that way, which is cool for the majority. Anything fast will come this way. Okay, it's working quite nicely. So all that material is going to pile up in there. It's weird, the waste material, because sometimes I know there's no white material in that pile. Like, I dreamited it out. It's clean, pink, pay dirt rock or whatever it is. And just occasionally in these piles, I've been noticing some very white material coming through. I'm wondering whether occasionally the conveyor leaks here or something like that. Like a piece jumps out of this and goes ping and goes off that way. I'm not sure. Need to do some more experiments. That's what it's all about, experimentation. So yeah, material is extracted from whatever I've dug and goes out that way. Just see what these machines are running like then. Okay. So yeah, it just all comes spilling out of here and down onto the pile below, like that. Going to make that area a bit visual, I think, a bit more visual. I was also going to put in another machine, maybe two. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun when I get those other two running from the new section of the mine. So yeah, it goes into these two hoppers here. As you can see, they've been built with bulldozing in mind. Pretty sure I didn't lose all the construction I did. No. Yeah, I think it's all there. So hopefully I don't, when I'm moving road material, bury the back end of them and clog them up. Built this nice little wall in here. Got some nice vertical edges, as you can see, from this little corner section here. Learned how to do that with the loader. It's quite fun. Might put that into a video. That's in the section of video though that I lost because I forgot to unmute my mic. So yeah, we're going to come off here with a bit of a ramp. Come downhill a little because we've got another lithium seam here. We're going to build a flat bridge, I think, actually. I might build a bridge on the flat across there with the tiles and put the ramp up and down over here because that'll use up some waste material. So that'll be handy. Okay, can do it that way. Righty then. So yeah, not much road progress because I've only got one dozer and I get bored running it around. That's why I'm going to buy the small one and test it. Going to use it for the road build, maybe with one of the small loaders. And we're going to go out following this ridge line, staying as high as we can, get onto that ridge line down to the other tower as well. I think build one road instead of two out to the towers. Just go around in a loop. The fuel truck goes really quickly, so if you've got a big smooth road, I think it's the machine for doing jumps and stuff at the moment. It's really fun. I really enjoy running around in that. Not that you've seen me do it much, but that's because the machines themselves can run to the fuel point. So yeah, here on the conveyor, got these two left turns because it looks like these conveyors on the bottom feed into one another, and material does flow that way. It does work. So yeah, for those who want a 2-block straight conveyor, it exists. Just doesn't look very tidy. When you use it in that mode, you've got the side entrance and it looks a bit dodgy, but it works. So here we've built this big ramp down, and I'm going wider on my roads because I've learnt narrow roads equal dumpers hitting things and rolling. And I'm going to carry on down using this as a guide. I'm coming 3 along, 1 down, 3 along, 1 down. 45 degrees would be 1 along, 1 down. 22.5 would be 2. So this will be around about 15 degree slope, maybe 13.5. Might even be 11.5. But I just want a shallow slope down till we get to the back of this machinery. And then I'm going to put in a flat surface and turn and go back along the edge of this hillside again, using loads of waste material, and then back again till we come into this lower valley down in this valley, and we'll be able to come backwards into this mine through what I saw in my last game is a huge pile of seams. So yeah, there's a lot of material to come out, but you can see I've got 3.7 million already. Not really working hard. I haven't really dug that big a hole. So I started this game with a 3 million loan, got that paid off. We've got 3.7 million. I've had dumpers. I've played with other loaders, so I've lost money buying and selling stuff. Machinery that I've been buying, I mean, crikey. I've got a million's worth of transport sat in my inventory. Load of Dreamite. So yeah, we're doing well. I think we're doing well. So yeah, finish up with a big thank you to everyone who's viewing and subscribing, giving me advice, giving me comments. Like or dislike as you choose, but if you dislike, please leave some constructive criticism about why you dislike it so I can avoid it or change it. Or just so I know, really, you know. Yeah. Big thank you to all those who are advising me. This channel's just for fun. I need to rebuild that again. Just realised that's not in line. Okay. So there is going to be a big rebuild on. Really big rebuild. Get the bottom of this dug out, I think, and rebuild it. But yeah, I also want to get back into those seams. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes. Quickly take you up there before we go. Since I think this is going to now be a standalone, I'm not going to do the editing thing. It just interrupts my gaming. There's enough gaming time lost with doing the upload and sorting out YouTube and commenting and everything. I really enjoy the commenting and everything. Don't get me wrong. Keep it coming. It's just everything I do cuts into gaming time, and as a dedicated hardcore gamer, that's sort of like the opposite of what you want to be, right? Everybody wants to game more. People in my Discord saying, I've got to work, I want to play Out of Ore. Yeah, I know your pain. I've been there. It's only through being in pain that I've got to the position where this is about all I can do at the moment without seriously hurting myself. So yeah, on the bright side, you can still go surfing, skiing, snowboarding and do it for me, pretty much, because yeah, lifestyle otherwise. So yeah, I think I'm going to set up here and do some processing, get that Grizzly link through all the way, rebuild all my processor down there up here, and then start my way down into the hill and see what we get. So I'm looking to make a deep cut into the hill so we see it in profile, so we can look at the layers of material. It's going to be interesting. But this is a long-term project. We may have to restart, fix game breaking problems. I don't know yet. We'll find out. It's going to be fun. That's why I play games. It's all meant to be fun. I hope you've enjoyed the video and had fun with me, and I'll be seeing you soon. This is JP signing off for the moment.